Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Math Unlocked with your host, Mrs. Rhodes-Grierson. So today we're going to go into the world of decimals. Now, let's start out with understanding what decimals really mean and how do we perform operations on decimals. So I have the two numbers 34.78 plus 6.13. Notice I read it as 34.78. I didn't read it as 34.78 because this doesn't read 78, it reads 0.78. And this reads 6.13. Now, if I'm going to be performing this operation, I need to ensure that one, when I set up my process, I put my numbers in their correct position. So the 34.78, I'm going to be adding 6.13. Understanding where to place your numbers is the most important part. The 6 is in the ones column, so the 6 goes underneath the 4. The points must be aligned to each other. The 1 is in the tenth with a th, so it goes underneath the 7 because the 7 is also the first number after the point. Then I'll put my 3, aligning that with my 8. There's nothing aligning with this 3 here because this is 3 tens and there's no tens here to align with it. So we're now going to perform the operation of addition. So the first thing you do is to align your numbers properly, ensuring that ones go with ones, tens go with tens, tenths go with tenths, hundredths go with 100ths. So we take that first and now we're going to perform our basic addition. Now I'm starting on my extreme right. I'm going to be adding 8 plus 3. Because every number that we have here is a number in our base 10 system. When I add them, the biggest digit allowed is a 9. So I'm going to repeat that. In our system, the biggest digit allowed is a 9. So in any column, the biggest digit I can write is a 9. Let's look at what happens here. I had 8 plus 3 and that gives me 11. 11 is not a digit, 11 is a number. So because this is base 10 system, I'll say how many groups of 10 can I get out of 11 and what remains? I have 1 remaining. So I leave the remainder of 1 and I'll carry 1 group here. Now I carry it here. I'm bringing that over. This was actually my hundredths column. So that's 1/100th that's really coming here. And it is equivalent to 1 group of tenth. So I bring 1 group here. So I leave 1 of my hundredths and I bring 1 group of tenths. T-E-N-T-H here. Now I'm going to add 1 plus 7 plus 1, that's 8, plus another 1, that's 9. 9 I can write here because that's the biggest digit allowed in the system. So I'm allowed to write the 9. I do not need to bring over anything. It doesn't surpass the quantity that is allowed. So I'm writing down my 9. Good. I put down my points to align with all of the other decimal points. Now I'm going to add my ones column. 4 plus 10. 4 plus 6 is 10. 10 is not a digit. 10 is a number. A number comprised of more than 1 digit, so I cannot put 10 here. 9 is the biggest digit allowed. So from the 10, I noticed that if I should take the whole group of 10, since it's a base 10 system, I'll take that group of 10 here. It becomes 110, 1 group of 10. There's nothing remaining because that was just 10, so there's a 0 holding that 1's place. Now I'm going to add my 3 and my 1 and that gives me a 4. My solution 40.91. Once you're adding or subtracting on our base 10 system, always remember the highest digit is a 9. You can carry groups of tens, hundreds, thousands, tenths, hundredths. You can bring them over to the other group, so ensure that you do not write a digit more than the number 9 in any column. And this applies to either addition or subtraction. All right, we're continuing on the journey, but this time we're going to do subtraction. So I'm going to start off again by setting up my numbers. 204.25. Take away. Now I'm doing the subtraction. I'm aligning my numbers properly. This is tenth. This is tens, so I'm going to put it under my tens column. This is ones. I put it on my ones column. Inserting my decimal point, zeros in my tenth, 7 in my hundredths. I'm ensuring that I put everything in alignment before I start to do my operation of subtraction. I'm going to start on my extreme right. I'm going to subtract the smallest ones until I get to the bigger ones. Right? So when we do subtraction, we do bottom up. So it is 5 take away 7 and not the other way around. It doesn't matter what size of the number is at the top. It's the top take away the bottom. Top take away the bottom. So this reads as 5 take away 7. You do not go into the mistake of saying always subtract the littler number, because the order of operation matters. The statement is saying 5 take away 7. Now 7 is bigger than 5, so I can't actually do that subtraction. So what I'm going to do, since I have more numbers, I'm going to go over to the tens column and take one group of the tenth from here, taking one from here, leaving one. When I take this one group over here, it values 10 hundredths. So this was 5 hundredths plus another, plus 10 of them. Now I have 15. So the value of this one is not 1 hundredths, it's 10 hundredths, because it's my base 10 system. So once I take one, it values 10 in the smaller unit over there. So the value of this one is 10 hundredths. So now I have 15 hundredths. I'm now going to take 7 from 15. When you take 7 from 15, you are left with 8. So this is 8 hundredths. I'm taking 0 from my 1. That's still 1. I put down back my point. Again, I'm subtracting. What's at the top is I'm subtracting the bottom one. So it's 4 take away 5. Again, the 4 is not enough to take the 5 from it. So I need to go and take a group of 10 from here. But this is 0, so I can't take anything from there. I'm checking to see, do I have anything else I can take it from? I'm coming all the way over here. This is my hundreds column. So I'm taking one group. I'm taking it here because I can't just take it all the way. I have to go through the channel. I'm taking it here. This now become one group of tens. If I take, this is now one, this becomes now not 1 tens but 10 tens. So if I took one group from here, the value of it when it comes here is no longer 1 but 10. 10 of these, it's 10 tens. So when I take one from it, because I need to take it here, when I take one from it, it leaves me with a 9. So I did not take a single one from 1, I took one from 10. So when I take it from the 10, I have 9 left and I'm bringing 1 here. Remember, this doesn't value 1 when it comes over here, it values 10. So it means that now I have 14. Once you take it from another column, the value of the number over here is not the same as the value here, because this was tens and this was ones. So one group of tens is 10 groups of ones. So now I have 14. I'll take 5 from 14, remainder 9. 9 from 9 leaves me with 0, and nothing from 1 leaves me with 1. We must be careful with our subtraction, ensuring that when you take a number from another column, we take its value with it, to understand that when you carry that value, since it's a base 10 system, once I take it over to the smaller column, the value of it is 10 groups of that number. Right? All right. Let's move into multiplication. So we would have covered addition, subtraction. Let's move into multiplication. So we're multiplying two numbers and the two numbers have decimals in it. What am I going to do? I can go straight into my multiplication. I'm going to set up my numbers. 3.4, setting them up, 0.2. I'm going to multiply these numbers just as how I would multiply whole numbers. I'm going to take care of the decimal aspect of it when I'm finished performing my multiplication. So I'll say 2 times 4, that's 8. 2 times 3, that's 6. Notice I use the 2 to multiply. I will know the 2 was in a different column from the 0. So I will now account for the fact that I'm moving from the 2 onto the 0. I'll use a 0 to hold this position of where the 2 originally was, because that's now would be considered my 10th column, and now moving over to my 1's column. I'm holding that position because I'm moving on to a next row here to do my next operation. Now I'll now use the 0 here to multiply all the numbers here. 0 times 4, that's 0, and 0 times 3, that's 0. Now I'm going to perform addition. 8 plus 0 is 8. 6 plus 0 is 6. And 0 plus nothing is 0. Now I'm going to look at where do I put my decimal point. There was 1 digit after after the point in the first number, and there was 1 digit after the point in the second number. That accounts for a total of 2 digits after the point. In my solution, I should ensure that I bring my point to 2 digits. So I must have 2 digits after the point. So my solution becomes 0.64. All right, so my solution is 0.68. So what did I do? I went ahead and I did my regular multiplication. What did I do last? I ensured that I counted how many decimal place needs to be accounted for, and I take it from the 2 numbers that were being multiplied. So there was 1 decimal place after the point in the 3.4. There was 1 decimal place after the point in the 0.2. So my solution must account for 2 decimal places. So my answer is 0.68. All right, so now we're at division. Now, working with division can be a little bit tricky. And because it is a little bit tricky, we tend to often want to revert to rules that apply to multiplication, and the fact that division and multiplication work hand in hand. So if you remember when we were doing, fractions, we said that if you get a fraction to divide, you change it from division to multiplication, since multiplication is it's an easier cut. What are we doing when we're dividing decimals though? Now, because the fact that these 2 numbers are decimals, to divide them can be a little bit tricky. So I'm making my life a little bit easier by changing something about this. Just like I would have changed a fraction from division to multiplication, I'm going to change these from decimals. So before I go ahead and divide, I'm going to do a change. Change from decimal. How do I do that? Let's start out with this number. I want to change this number from a decimal. I'm going to check it out to see that there's 1 digit after the point. I don't want any digit after my point in order to make this number a whole number. It means that this was in the digit, since there's only 1 digit after the point and this is a base 10 system, if I want to get this digit to become before the point, all I need to do is to multiply this number by 10. I am increasing the value of the number when I do that, if I multiply it by 10. Go ahead and do my regular multiplication. 0 times all those numbers up the top. 1, 2, 3. place a 0 to hold that position now. So I'm moving on to the next. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 1 is 1. I'll add them all up. Remember what we said about multiplication. If there's one digit after the point, there should be one digit here after my point. So this becomes 0.8. So I change this number to 0.8. Shortcut, what we normally tell you is to just move the value of this number. So I'm really taking this 1 unit to the left. So it becomes 1.08. If I change this number, because I was performing an entire operation on 2 numbers, if I change this one, I must change this one the very same way. So if we do the shortcut and move this 1 unit, it must mean that I must move that 1 unit as well, 1 space. So this will come over here. Or I can go the long route of saying what's 0.2 times 10. If this was multiplied by 10, then this one must be multiplied by 10. I'm taking the long route, so you see the process of what is happening here. 0 times 2, that's 0. 0 times 0. Hold a position. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 0 is 0. I will now add them all up. I need 1 decimal place, so that number becomes 2. So what I'm now dividing is 108 is being divided by the number 2. I took it out of the decimal form and now have it in whole number form. Now this is a familiar territory to all of us, so we should be able to do our division from there. What do I now have? I have 108 being divided by 2. Let's do our long division. 2 into 1, I can't, so I say 2 into 10. 2 goes into 10 5 times. 5 times 2, that's 10, so we do subtraction. That's the 0 remaining. 2 can't go into 0, but I do have another number that can bring down. So 2 goes into 8 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. I'll do my subtraction. There's nothing remaining. So the solution of this is 54. I just made my life easier when I changed my division. I changed my numbers from decimals to whole numbers. The process is to ensure that you want no number after the decimal point. So you're going to count to see how many digits you need to move, and that will determine what you multiply by or how many points you're moving them across. The same amount of places you move this one is the same amount that you'll move that one, or the same number you multiply this by is the same number you'll multiply this by to maintain that balance. Once you have whole numbers and whole numbers only, you can go ahead and divide. I hope this video will be useful. Please do remember to like and subscribe and share. Have your friends sharing and understanding, and come right back where we will dive into the world of maths to make your life much easier, and we will problem solve together.